The fork paused halfway to my mother's mouth as her glass tapped for attention. Conversations thinned into silence. Tyler leaned back in his chair, already smiling, already certain of the applause coming his way. She lifted her chin, eyes bright. I just want everyone to know how proud I am. Tyler finally bought a house. A soft chorus of approval moved around the table. Tyler accepted it with an easy shrug, like success had simply wandered into him. Then her gaze slid toward me, too gentle to be kind. And you? Brooke, when are you going to settle down? The room held its breath. Tyler's smile tilted. She likes her little city life, he added, swirling his drink. No rush. Right. I kept my hands folded, steady. A small smile found my face. Not the one I'd practiced for years, but something quieter, something patient. This story is an original creation by the writing team of the Revenge World channel, inspired by the hidden corners of family life, and told with the purpose of fostering emotional connection and spreading understanding. My aunt cleared her throat. My father stared at his plate. The question hovered between us, heavy with history. Mom's voice softened, sharpened all at once. We just worry about you. Worry. The word that had always meant comparison. Tyler leaned closer, lowering his voice as if offering advice. Stability matters. Brooke. I met his eyes and let the silence stretch. If you've ever felt that pause when a family decides who you are before you speak, you know how loud it can be. Stay with me through this night. It won't unfold the way they expect. My smile stayed. The power shifted, just enough to be felt, not yet seen. Growing up. Tyler was introduced before he entered a room. My name usually followed, attached to an explanation. She's the quiet one. She's independent. She'll be fine. At dinner one night, my mother waved a hand toward my homework spread across the table. You don't need help? You're good at figuring things out. Her attention shifted instantly. Tyler, did you think more about that business idea? He grinned, all confidence. It's big. I just need time. Time was always available to him. For me, there were reminders. Don't make a fuss. Let your brother shine. Be supportive. When Tyler brought home a mediocre report card, pride filled the kitchen. He has potential, Mom announced, like a promise to the world. When I earned top marks, her response landed lighter. That's expected. Dad stayed quiet. Eyes on the newspaper. Peace kept by absence. At family gatherings, relatives circled Tyler with questions about his future. Someone would glance my way eventually. And Brooke's doing well. Right, Mom answered before I could breathe. She always manages. Manage became my role. Not celebrated, not doubted, just assumed. And slowly, without being asked, I learned how to disappear while still holding everything together. College was where the divide stopped pretending to be subtle. Tyler sat at the kitchen table with brochures spread out, my mother's finger tracing photos of campuses close to home. This keeps you grounded, she told him. We'll help with tuition. You focus on finding yourself. He nodded, already half elsewhere. I might switch majors, or take a year to explore. When my turn came, the brochures were gone. I mentioned a state university and a marketing program I'd researched for months. Mom barely glanced up. That sounds expensive. Maybe think smaller. Something practical. Dad murmured about scholarships while standing to leave. Keys already in hand. So I learned the language of applications. Late nights and part-time shifts. I learned how to smile through exhaustion. When the acceptance letter arrived with enough aid to make it possible, my mother offered a thin approval. If they're paying, then it makes sense. Tyler's classes changed every semester. Each passable grade earned praise. He's figuring things out. Mom told relatives. When I graduated with honors, my phone buzzed once during the ceremony. Congratulations. Your brother's busy at work. At dinner weeks later, my aunt raised a glass for Tyler's new job at a retail showroom. Applause filled the room. Someone asked about my graduation. Mom waved it off. She's fine. She's always been fine. I watched the toast continue, understanding finally that our paths hadn't just split. They'd been chosen for us, and only one was ever meant to be seen. Milwaukee didn't offer applause. It offered work. My first week at the agency, the creative director slid a stack of files across the desk. If you can handle this, you can handle anything here. It wasn't a challenge. It was a warning. I handled it. And the next stack. And the one after that. During late nights, coworkers joked about ordering takeout. I packed leftovers and tracked every expense. When a client campaign finally broke through, my manager paused behind my chair. You see patterns most people miss. That matters. At home. The phone calls stayed familiar. Mom's voice carried updates, never questions. Tyler's thinking about a new opportunity. Tyler might move. When I mentioned a promotion, the response landed quick and flat. That's nice. Just don't burn yourself out. Tyler called once. Laughter loud through the speaker. Must be fun playing with social media all day. The line went quiet on my end. I let it stay that way. Paychecks grew. Titles changed. I kept my apartment small, my habits smaller. I learned to invest before I learned to celebrate. Each decision built something invisible but solid. At a team dinner, a senior partner lifted his glass. Brooke keeps this place standing. The praise felt unfamiliar, almost heavy. Back home, no one noticed the weight shifting, and for the first time, I stopped needing them to. The backyard celebration felt rehearsed. Balloons bobbed. A cake waited to be photographed. Tyler stood at the center, accepting congratulations like they were overdue. Mom hovered close. Pride sharpened into performance. This is what stability looks like, she told anyone within reach. A house, a future. I drifted toward the kitchen for ice. Voices slipped through the doorway, low but urgent. This isn't adding up, Mom murmured, the edge gone from her tone. 3 cards nearly maxed, a car payment every month. Tyler exhaled hard. It's temporary. I just need help closing. $18,000. Once I'm settled, it'll be fine. Silence followed, heavy, then a quieter answer. I can move things around, maybe pull from retirement. Just this once. My grip tightened on the ice scoop. Years folded inward. The night I asked for a few $100s to secure my first apartment, her refusal had sounded like principle. You need to learn to stand on your own. I stepped back before the door opened. Later, in the living room, Mom's tablet lit up on the counter. A bank alert flashed across the screen before it dimmed. Withdrawal pending. My chest went still. Outside, Tyler laughed with an uncle, already selling the next version of himself. Big plans, he promised. This house is just the start. I nodded along, carrying the weight quietly. It wasn't envy settling in, it was clarity. On the drive back to Milwaukee, the numbers replayed. $18,000, $720 every month. Stability, funded by denial. By the time the city lights appeared, something inside me had shifted. Not anger, alignment. The advisor studied my numbers longer than my face. Papers shifted. A pen tapped once. You've done the work. You can afford a place, but it won't be comfortable. Comfort hadn't protected me before. He turned the screen so I could see the projections. If you move $480,000 in cash, you'll need a short-term bridge loan for the rest. $60,000, 12 months. It's doable, but you'll feel it. I nodded, already aware of the cost. I can handle lean. He met my eyes, searching for hesitation. This isn't about proving anything. It's about being done waiting. Door County came into focus through listings and quiet walkthroughs. Nothing flashy. Solid walls, water in the distance. The kind of place that didn't ask for applause. At closing, The room felt smaller than I expected. A stack of papers. A pause. The agent offered a smile. Most people don't do it this way. I signed anyway. The keys rested in my palm afterward, heavier than metal should be. No one called. No one knew. That night, my phone buzzed with a message from Mom. Tyler's thinking about refinancing. I set the phone face down. The risk was real. So was the ground under my feet. Tyler's living room looked finished in the way a showroom does. Everything placed just right. Nothing lived in yet. My mother moved through the space like it belonged to her, adjusting a napkin, straightening a frame. When dinner settled, she lifted her glass again. The sound carried. "This year feels different," her voice announced. "A real milestone. A home. Stability." Eyes turned to Tyler. He accepted it easily. Hard work pays off. Confidence filling the room. Her attention found me next. And Brooke, the smile tightening. "When are you finally going to settle down?" The table waited. Tyler leaned back, crossing his arms. "You can't rent forever." Amusement laced through the words. "At some point, you have to grow up." I set my fork down carefully. The quiet arrived on its own. I already did. My mother blinked. "What does that mean? It means I bought a place?" My voice stayed even. In Door County, near the water. Tyler laughed once, sharp and short. "That's funny. Mostly cash." The words continued, measured. $480,000 up front. A short-term bridge loan for the rest. The air shifted. Plates stopped moving. My cousin Hannah, seated near the end, glanced up from her wine. "I've been there," she offered calmly. "It's real. It's beautiful." My mother's glass lowered slowly. "Why wouldn't you tell us I met her eyes? Every time I tried to share my life, it was compared to his." Her face tightened. "You waited until Christmas to embarrass your brother." Tyler leaned forward, jaw set. "You think money makes you better than me now?" The room felt smaller. Focused. No. The answer came without heat. I stopped pretending I was less. A chair scraped. Someone inhaled sharply. My mother's voice trembled. "After everything we've done for you, for him," the correction landed softly. I learned how to stand on my own when I was told no one would help. Silence pressed in. Not shocked. Exposed. I stood, slipping my coat on. Hannah rose beside me without hesitation. No one followed. No one stopped us. Outside, the cold air steadied my breath. Behind us, the house stayed bright, staged, and fragile. The messages started quietly. A missed call, a short voicemail, then another. Tyler's voice sounded thinner than I remembered. "The bank won't refinance. They want numbers I don't have." The confidence was gone, replaced by irritation trying to pass as control. A week later, my mother's name lit up my phone. Her tone had changed. "Things are complicated right now. The payments are stacking up." I listened without interrupting. The story unfolded in pieces, missed deadlines, late notices. A house that had been celebrated now weighing on every conversation. They're asking $720 every month just for the car. She continued, breath tight. And the credit cards. It's more than we thought. Soon after, the truth arrived fully formed. Tyler had to sell. Fast. The market didn't care about intention or pride. Another call came late one evening. The request finally surfaced. Careful but unmistakable. "You're in a good position." My mother pressed gently. "This wouldn't be a handout. Just help until he gets back on his feet." I leaned against the counter, the lake visible through the window. I didn't build my life to keep fixing the same pattern. Silence stretched on the line. "I love you," I added, steady and clear. "But I'm not financing denial anymore." The call ended without agreement. Something else ended with it too. Thanksgiving came without an announcement. No speeches, no comparisons. Just a small table, a few chairs, and people who arrived without expectations. Hannah set a dish down and smiled. "You look lighter. I feel accurate." The truth slipped out easily. Later, my mother's name appeared again. This time, the voice on the line sounded older, stripped of performance. "I didn't realize how much I asked you to carry." The pause that followed wasn't dramatic. It was honest. "I'm trying to see it now. I'm glad." My reply held steady ground. "Seeing it doesn't mean I can fix it." She didn't argue. That felt like progress. After the call, I stepped outside with a mug warming my hands. The water stayed calm, indifferent to family narratives and long-held roles. Some things don't need permission to exist. I learned that independence isn't loud. It doesn't arrive with applause or proof. It shows up quietly, the moment you stop shrinking to keep others comfortable. Love doesn't require self-erasure. Support doesn't mean surrender. If any part of this feels familiar, stay with that feeling. Sit with it. Share it if you need to. Stories like this don't end when the room goes silent. They continue in the choices made afterward. Inside. Laughter drifted through the open door. I turned back toward it, carrying what mattered and leaving the rest where it belonged.